until the garage gets cleaned up, because I'm in the middle of bathroom renos. I have no access to the bin, so I can't put that back in the box until I get the garage cleaned up now. But it's late at night, so I can't do anything in the garage right now. So I decided to waste my time this late at night on a Saturday night and make 4 more of these. Just because I wanted to, because I got the 2x3 slopes with logo from of the Bricklink store in Germany, Magnus. I've bought off him before, and I've never been disappointed. I've always been very appreciative of what he has. I have 2 of these in the layout. I think at least 2 of these in the layout, so that'd be 10 altogether that I've built. I can build more, but I'm not going to. I think as 10 is my number that I want to adhere to without being stupid. 10's fine. There was, you can go back in my TikToks, should you so desire. I think I even YouTube Shorts, I did it. I uploaded them there too, where I have, a panorama, or panning the camera, not a panorama. Panning the camera is showing my 10 918s and my 11 924s and my 12 928s and blah, blah, blah. What I had planned, and this is not a concrete plan, it is just something that bounces around in my head, to replace the layout with something easier. And what would be easier is just to grab the stack of base plates over there, crater plates, landing pads, and T-intersections, and my bin of 3-digit classic space sets, and just take up 4 tables and put all the base plates randomly out there, and put all these spaceships and buildings, the command center, the Alpha Base, Alpha 1 rocket launch, blah, blah, blah. And just 3-digit space sets. Like an entire layout, an ad hoc layout, no monorail, no non-set mocks, just the original sets, except there be lots of them, because I happen to have lots. And what I wanted in my head, these to me are the Star Furies, Babylon 5. These to me are the Star Furies of Lego Classic Space. These are the workhorses. These are what move people around, blah, blah, blah. And so what I wanted, like a flock of geese, I wanted is on somewhere on the layout of just random base plates, crater plates, and landing pads, is to have like a dozen of these, or half a dozen, maybe 8 of these, kind of going to a destination, like they're floating, like almost like a StarCraft thing, where you get all your, for crying out loud, it's been so long since I played StarCraft, where you get all your not your capital, I can't believe I'm forgetting all these names. I have to play I haven't played StarCraft in years. It is one of my favorite video games of all time. But I'm forgetting there was a battle cruiser, and there was the little ones, the Wraith. I think it was the Wraith. Maybe it's called the Wraith. I could be wrong because I can't remember this stuff. But just you group a whole bunch of them and you send them somewhere. That's what I wanted these things to do, and so they would be floating above the ground, the craters, and going off somewhere. But there'd be a bunch of them together, kind of in synchronization, like the Snowbirds and or the Blue Angels, but Snowbirds are better. But I don't want to start that fight right now. My friend Stevie flew in the Snowbirds back in the day. He was an F-14 pilot. This guy back, he left high school and joined the Armed Forces as a pilot. And I just admire the crap out of him for doing that. But anyway, yeah, I think he's still in the forces now, but I think he's not flying anymore. I think he might be teaching or something. I haven't heard. My parents know his parents and blah, blah, blah. But small town we grew up in. But that's what I wanted with these things. And in my head, I have a visualization of these things all in a group flying somewhere across the surface of whatever planetoid they're on. And then like having an Alpha 1 rocket base kind of over the horizon, so you see the rocket ship kind of thing, and then having a command center over there with 2 or 3 landing pads near it with a couple 928s and 924s, and having 9-way shuttle, like just a day in the life of 3-digit sets across four tables at a show, which would be easy because I would just need a box to bring the stuff. I wouldn't need to fill the van. We could take Sandy's car to a show finally, instead of bringing a van and just backing it to the gills, and base plates, as I said, and just kind of throw them out there. This is what pleases me. The issue for me is that people who do not get classic space won't get it. There's a difference between us Nostalgia Fest people who adore classic space in its original run and subsequent runs, versus the public who want to see something really, really big and cool. And this is the difference between the classic space layout and just showing up with base plates and a bunch of original sets. So for me, it'd be fantastic. And for some of us out there, it would be absolutely fantastic to just have like a whole layout of original 3-digit sets and then having lots of them, because that'd be fun. One of my friends suggested that we get together and we do a layout together, because he can bring all his 3-digit classic space sets and I can bring all my classic space sets, 3-digit classic space sets, and we would have like a bevy of Galaxy Explorers and 924s and 918s and blah blah blah. Because right now I think I have 4 command centers. I think I haven't opened a box in a while. I packed all my other ones up. I have at least 4, possibly 6. The Alpha 1 rocket base, I think I only have 2 built, but with all seriousness, the Alpha 1 rocket base doesn't have too many unique parts in it, and I could build lots more if I wanted to, and I should actually think about it someday. So, it's under my feet. Oh, a bit of doom. So that's what I was thinking. And so one of my impetuses for ordering the 2x3 slope was to build more of these. And what I wanted to do this time, so this is one of my originals, and you can see the yellowed pieces in it. I mean, it's not the worst I've ever seen. I mean, look at that. That's one of my slope pieces is pretty yellowed. What I wanted to do is put a little bit, a little tiny bit of effort into finding good-looking pieces, non-yellowed pieces, non-dinged pieces to build the 4 I just built. And so I put some effort into it. Now, some of it is slightly yellowed because that's what's going to happen with the old gray pieces. But overall, I am pleased how the 8 look together. I really am. I wish I had gotten one of these when they were first in the stores. But I don't think they would have been expensive. Like the 886 would have been the cheapest one of the year because it's just like 12 parts, maybe 12 parts. Like it's 2 wheels, 1 by 2. Well, with the minifig, probably 10 or 12 parts. But this thing has a few more parts. And I don't know what size of box this came in, but it was one of the smaller ones. And I wish I had bought one back in the day, but I didn't. But as you can see, I have enough of them now. And so what they're going to do is they're going to be taken apart. They're going to be put in a baggie, put into the 3-digit bin with my other parts. I'm going to sort all those hopefully out tomorrow and get them all. I've cleaned up the Lego room, not as perfect as it once was, but it's a lot better. I can move on the floor without stepping on stuff. I do have the back corner to sort out. We had purchased a bunch of stuff over the years for Josh for Christmases and birthdays, and it's all kind of piled over in the back corner. And he really likes to play with the Bionicle slash, the maxi figs that you had for Star Wars, where they were made out of Bionicle parts. So Obi-Wan's over there and Darth Vader's over there and blah, blah, blah. He likes to pull those out every once in a while, have these big, huge battles. So I have come downstairs and found a few broken Bionicle bits. But in the end, I would rather have him have fun than say, oh, you have to. I mean, I try to tell him to be more careful with the toys that he has and not break them. But when it comes to the Bionicle bits, I'm not too worried if he breaks a few. So I just don't want to step on them because bionicle bits are sharp when they're broken. But anyway, so that's what I did tonight. Built 4 more, and so now there's 8 here, and I don't think I have any more up on the thing. And yeah, that thing's still spinning. So it's like yeah, I'm wearing my Toro Lug shirt today because we went to the meeting. It wasn't the AGM, but it was their semi-annual meeting for just keeping up on the Toro Lug stuff. Good to see some friends there. I adore them, and they were very, very supportive of my new endeavor, the maglev. Wow, that thing is just nonstop. I was surprised that they saw it. Like I was, more than 5 people came up to me at the meeting today, and said, "Dave, I saw your video. It's so awesome." And I'm going, like, I really, again, I don't expect any feedback from my channel here at all. I don't expect any feedback, but I love when I get it, and it made me feel happy because, again, you guys have all responded to my new maglev. I'm calling it the maglev, the levitation magnet thing. I have had so many comments on my YouTubes and my TikToks about how cute that is and how wonderful. And I think it's going to be a value-added service. Now, again, just like I talked about having 3-digit classic face sets at a show, some people aren't going to get it. Some people aren't going to notice it. They're going to just walk on by and look at the cool Harry Potter castle or the cool GBC or the cool whatever. And that's perfectly acceptable to me. I'm not here to wow the world. I do mostly everything I do, almost everything I do, and I can't think of what I do that doesn't follow this rule. I do things not for me because that's kind of like arrogant and self-centered. I don't do things for me. I do things that I think specific other people are going to appreciate. And therefore I do them. Because if it was up to me, I'd be sitting on the couch right now playing Minecraft. Just do it for 5 months of the Minecraft, five months straight of playing Minecraft, and maybe then reinstall StarCraft on a laptop somewhere and play StarCraft. But I don't do that because that would just be for me, and I don't like doing stuff just for me. I like to be with other people. I want to have a conversation starter. I want to have a relationship, discussing and talking with friends and family. This is what I want out of my life. So the layouts I find are a wonderful, not just for the attention span from people, but to have conversations. And I mentioned that numerous times in this channel about how conversations have started and they have gone on for minutes and sometimes like hour plus about this stuff. And then I get a link, I get a mention on my YouTube channel that somebody else had posted the videos of the layout at Brickomania or wherever else, and they said, "Oh, I got to talk today for 20 minutes," and I said, "Oh, I remember this conversation now." like I don't think about it at the time. I love talking about classic space or Lego or whatever with anybody that happens to come across my path that wants to talk. I don't go out of my way to find people to talk to. I sit there at the show. I love sitting at shows, and being a representative of our group or whatever. But when people want to come up and talk, I got you covered. And I love listening to their stories. I've mentioned all the numerous stories of over all these years of doing shows. It is the people, the shows are my favorite part of the hobby period right now. They really are. And and this is me after building 4 more of these and enjoying building 4 more of these. That I did derive some enjoyment from building these and finding the right parts, the cleaner parts, the non-yellowed parts that as I could. I enjoy that too. But it's almost, I won't say a passion, but I look so much forward to doing a show and being at a show. One of the things that came up at the Toro Lug meeting today is that at the last show they did, which I don't go to, Fan Expo, I've never been to quote unquote a comic book convention. Anime North, I don't consider a comic book convention. Now I will have to make a proviso that I went to Niagara Falls Comic Con just a few years ago and brought Leo. That's great. We hung out with Buffalo for the weekend, but that was my first comic book convention. Period. It was like I've Ontario Collector Cons and Mississauga Fan Expos or whatever comic expos. Those are not like Fan Expo or SDCC Comic Cons. So I never deliberately avoided Comic Cons, but I've never been having the wherefore to get to one before. I love well, I used to love comic books. I'm not a huge comic book fan, but they have everything else besides comic books now at Comic Cons. But anyway, all those stories aside, Fan Expo has been inviting Toro Lug for years. Toro Lug has been making a wonderful presentation at Fan Expo for literally years, for a very, very long time. And my issue, and it's just my issue, is that it's right downtown. And so for me to bring the layout in the busy metropolitan Toronto, like Anime North is up by the airport, and you got all the space in the world, and you got all the time in the world to set up, and blah, blah, blah. Fan Expo is completely different. You have the specific hours to where you can set up and whatever. And this thing takes three hours now. For me, because I'm getting old and slow. And then trying to just get it out of the van into the building downtown with thousands of people walking back and forth. I would love, I think the layout would be perfectly fantastic at Fan Expo. It's just and the space they give us, like Anime North is massively space that they give us. It's like 40 by 70, like this huge space that they give us every single time we go. And they basically love having us there, and we get free food vouchers and we get a hotel room and blah, blah, blah. Fan Expo, you're paying your own way. The only thing they give you is free passes to the people who are going to be there. So the groups that are exhibitors, like Toro Lug and anybody else, any other group that's exhibiting something, they get free passes for the people who are going to attend. And their free passes allow you as an attendee to display your stuff. But Toro Lug rightly and justly say, if you want a free pass to Fan Expo, I don't know what the admission price is to get into Fan Expo, but it's pretty pricey, I would imagine. But we get them free because we're displaying something. We are a value added service to their expo, and Toro Lug makes a point that if you can go see the rest of the show, you can go check out Fan Expo all you want for the weekend. You get a free pass and go check out Fan Expo, but you have to be at the display area of Toro Lug for 3 hours minimum. I have done so many shows. I've done the Toy Train and Doll shows, the Christmas shows, the hobby shows, Niagara Falls Comic Con, and Anime North, obviously lots of Anime North, and then lots of our own shows. 98% of the time I'm sitting in our display area because I don't need to go out and see everything else. The people come to me. The people come to us. They want to check us out. And then I love talking to people. So when I'm out there checking everything else out, I'm not talking to anybody. That's why I will say it's nice having Josh with me when I do a show, because he wants to go check everything out. So I'll walk with him, and that's fine. But normally for me, just because I used to run these shows where they give us some floor space to display our wares, wares being we're not buying or selling in this context, displaying our stuff, that because I was running this show, I never left our display area just in case something happens or there's a problem or whatever. And again, I'm not comfortable. Well, I am comfortable in almost any situation. I just didn't want to walk around a lot and not be with our stuff. I'm not worried about our stuff because everybody else is still there watching it. I'm not worried about whatever, but I like talking to people and I like talking about this. And this is a fantastic, as I say, conversation starter. So when I do a show, when I do somebody else's show, I will sit there all weekend with our display and be hopefully a value added service to the show. And so I'm always amazed people that will show up, drop off a mock and just walk away. And I'm not going to fault them for that. I'm not going to fault them for that. But it's something I will not do. I want to be with the layout. Now, my layout requires a little more babysitting than most other layouts, I'll say that. But I want to be, and people want to talk about the layout. So other people can answer the questions, some of the questions, but they want to meet the idiot that put in all this time into making the layout, and so the idiot is me. So I'll be there to answer the questions, and just seeing for our entire display, Toro Lug does. I will say this: every show I've done with Toro Lug, because I'm part of Toro Lug, so but every show I do with Toro Lug has been a great showing by Toro Lug. Everyone, big or small. I say Tilsonburg is one of my favorite shows. I don't bring the layout because it's just like a 5-hour show. But Toro Lug shows up. And all the people there's a dozen of us doing the show in Tilsonburg. And most of the people that are at the show in Tilsonburg, they all stick around and we chat with each other, and then we chat with the people who walk by, and I love that. Now some people come and go, and that's again perfectly acceptable, but that's not what I do. I usually make a point of staying with the display. As I'm getting older now, I do kind of wander off every once in a while. It wasn't even at Anime North this year. At Anime North, I hardly left the area at all. I did walk out a little bit. Josh wanted to walk around, so I walked around with him. Tilsonburg, I went and checked out the museum because this is my second year there, and I wanted to see the museum, so I went and checked out the museum, which is kind of neat. But I get back to the actual display. It's what I want to do, and again, nobody else has to do it this way, but there is an actual rule that if you are doing a show and they give you free passes to the big show, the whole show, you do have to be helping with the display area for 3 hours. And I think that's a perfectly acceptable number especially for a weekend show that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that you spend 3 hours talking to us. Why wouldn't you? But anyway, I guess there was some issues with some people not actually doing that. I keep on saying I would love to do Fan Expo, but I don't want to do it without this. Compounded with that is Fan Expo doesn't give Toro Lug a big area to display, and it's kind of cramped, and so it's more conducive to small displays because the layout would take up 5 other people's small displays, the area for 5 other people's displays, and I would feel terrible, absolutely terrible, if I show up with the layout and take up other people's spots. In any context, every show I've ever done, I'm not taking up anybody else's space because we have enough space to display whatever anybody else brings. So I think about this crap, and I don't know why I put so much effort into thinking about this kind of crap, because nobody else seems to think about this kind of crap besides me. But I am very cognizant. I try to be very cognizant. I want to be very cognizant of other people's desires to be at shows and to display their stuff, because I know I get excited of showing off my stuff and having talks with the public. That I do not want to take that away from somebody else by having the huge layout that nobody else sees, or nobody else's stuff gets seen. What I do like so far, I haven't noticed it. What I have noticed is that I told you guys the stories that people will see the layout from a distance and they'll beeline it over, and they'll see the layout and they'll walk around the layout for a few seconds, and then they'll go see all the other stuff that people built. I love that. I don't mind being the impetus for getting people to come over to our display area, but I don't want it to be the sole focus of our display area. I never wanted the layout to be the focus of our display area, where it's the only thing that people will see. It's usually front and center, which I do check with people. I don't want to just arbitrarily and without consultation grab the center spot. I always ask, like, I can put it behind people because it's big enough that you can put it behind people, or put it over in the corner, wherever they want me. Um, I think Niagara Falls Comic Con was the best that we did for whatever, because we had Mike's Christmas Village, Mountain Village, and the layout side by side. So two big displays that would immediately grab people's attention. Then there was a hallway, an inlet to all the other tables with all the smaller stuff. And then on the other corner was Buffalog's Wild West scene, which was brilliant in its detail and execution. And then the mosaic too. So I like that the corners of our display has the big things, and then all the smaller stuff's in the middle, so people would be drawn to it from the corners and then go into the middle. There's a feng shui, there's a flow to these things that I appreciate, and I'm really starting to pay attention to how to set up things so things flow, so people get to see everything if they want to see everything. And not have dead ends where there's too many people down there, so they'll skip that little dead end. When other people start showing up, they'll say, there's too many people down there, I can't get down there to see what's down there. I try to be cognizant of that. I try to be aware of that, to not have dead areas where people can't seem to move a lot, smaller aisles, and then they get jammed down there. And then other people will walk by and say, I'm not gonna go down there because, and that's usually where the cool stuff is. That's cool smaller stuff. So there's an ebb and flow to the public moving around. And my layout takes up a lot of floor space, but it does seem to be a draw. And they even said that today. Some of my friends at the meeting said that there was a show in Erie, Pennsylvania. Again, Sandy and I have kind of put a moratorium of us hopping across the border for anything. So it was suggested that I should go next year, unless something drastically happens in the States and they do something about their current federal administration. No. Or they offer me money. I can be bought off. I shouldn't say that too loud. Yeah, I think we're going to avoid the U.S. for the next 3.5 years, and see what happens after that. Oh, shoot, it's past my bedtime. So anyway, that's all my tangents today about shows and this stuff, and I'm happy that I got 8 of these, and I'm gonna leave them together and put them in a bag and just be ready for a show. Should I want to do just an ad hoc base plate / 3-digit sets, I think it'll be fun. We'll talk about this for a really quick second. There's a very old piece of software that was used by the LugNet community called Track Designer. And basically it was almost like an old DOS thing, but it's early Windows, where it had the base plates and the train track and the monorail. And so you could do a design of your train layout or monorail layout. But they also added, of course, the landing pad, the T intersection, and the crater plate. So not just the road plates, the 32x32 road plates that came in the town sets. And so I had come up with lots. I got a whole folder full of layouts that I designed just virtually, putting base plates out there and how they would flow and what you would have over here and what you have over there. The Alpha 1 rocket base would be over there, and the 924 would be over there. And there would be a landing area here for 928s and blah, blah, blah. Some of my favorite scenes of any movie, even going back in the 50s and 60s, is when they're at the airstrip and you see all the planes parked nicely on a 45-degree angle right beside the tarmac. Or even on the aircraft carrier, you see all the airplanes parked off to the side on top of the deck. And I always wanted that with this. And if you looked at my YouTube videos or my shorts, or my TikTok shorts with all my 928s and all my 924s and all my 918s, I tried to recreate that, where all the ships are lined up symmetrically, shall we say. And I think it's a nice aesthetic. It really is a nice aesthetic, and I want to keep that up. So that's why I was thinking the ad hoc layout Leave the classic space layout at home. Just bring base plates and classic space sets, and just do, as they say, I'll need 4 tables minimum, because I want it to be a nice long display. Kind of like the old, I don't know which group did it, which lug did it back in the day. They had this massively huge M-tron layout that was a big, huge square that looked like it was like 30 feet by 15 feet, and just tables around the perimeter, and they had all these little vignettes around there. I want to do something like that, except with just three-digit classic space sets. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. That's it. That's all. I'm going to bed now. Everybody out there, stay safe, take care, and I will talk to you soon.